Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so I want to get straight into some rumors that I'm hearing, which I don't think really look real as far as the possibility of it actually happening. The Lakers are being rumored to, well, no, this is not the way to word it. The way to word it is the media and a lot of talking heads are trying to slap LeBron James and Steph Curry together. That's really what it is. Lakers are not rumored to be doing anything. I haven't heard any rumors that would lead to that type of language. But everybody's talking about it, because they had such a standout pairing in the USA games. The Olympics got gold a couple days ago. Steph Curry looks spectacular. And then you look over at the Golden State Warriors and you see Mike Dunleavy not really able to kind of put the kind of talent around him that would make it so that timeline makes any sense. And you look at the Lakers and say Anthony Davis and Bron don't really have what they need, so they can't necessarily look as good as they would like to look out there. So it leads to the idea that maybe there could be a parting of ways on one end or another. And then you look at how they were communicating. Of course, they know when they're photographed communicating, Steph and LeBron, people are gonna take the photo of that and then run with it as well. Obviously, they were very happy to play with one another. We all saw that in the footage of the initial pairing of them and when they were all coming together as a team, and we saw how excited they were. So it's obvious they've been wanting to be on the same side of things basketball-wise for a while now. And we've seen Bron pair up with Wade. We've seen him pair up with AD. We've seen him pair up with Kevin Love and Kyrie. You've seen Steph pair up with KD and so it's like this is not far-fetched for either of them to find themselves in a situation where they would want to stack the deck. So it all comes together to make it look like, this could be something that maybe these two parties would want to do. But to be honest with you, I don't think the Lakers have the package to get Steph Curry. And with LeBron James having a no-trade clause on his contract, I don't think the Lakers would be eager to move him to the Golden State Warriors for any reason. If he decided he wanted to go there, that clause would allow him the opportunity, I think, to go. But I don't see him wanting to go to Golden State. If he wanted to be in Golden State, I think he'd already be there, to be honest with you. And like I said, Mike Dunleavy's not doing what appears to me the greatest job of putting the right talent around him. And I think the reason behind it is the same reason the Lakers haven't made any moves this offseason. Is because it's very difficult to maneuver in this collective bargaining agreement with all these aprons. And if anything, owners are trying to shed salary rather than add to it. So it would look as if a GM's doing a bad job when in actuality he's just trying to stay under the salary aprons necessary for the owners to be happy. And so with Mike Dunleavy, I'm trying to convince myself that that's the same way to look at it, because I have been extremely critical of Mike Dunleavy and decisions that he has made. I think he's made some very poor ones. The CP3 contract was the one that really did it for me. I've heard rumors of them having an opportunity to get Markkanen. He did, in fact, sign a $220-something million contract with the Jazz. After all of that, he ended up going to the Jazz and is now enabled to be traded for a year based on when that contract was signed. So he's going to be a Jazz this year for certain. And you just saw the rumors out there that maybe they could have put some packages together that would have been able to get him to Golden State. And then losing Klay Thompson, and with the type of year they just had, you would think that would be the talent they need. But according to the rumors, Mike Dunleavy didn't want to part with Brandon Podziemski. Now, I've been on record talking about that, and I don't really remember what position I took in regards to moving Brandon Podziemski. I think I was on the side of trying to hold on to Podziemski. Definitely not moving all of the players. But I don't know that if it came down to it, if I'm Golden State, that would have kept me from getting Markkanen at this point. That's really about as much as I can say. I don't remember exactly what I said about 2 months ago when we were talking about it. But whatever the case may be, one could look at that and say, even under the circumstances, you should probably want Markkanen on your team going forward. If you're the Golden State Warriors and their identity as a three-point shooting team, Steph Curry and his timeline, and the fact that a guy like Podziemski is playing great and is going to be a nice player. But when you talk about what's going on in the future, is he enough to want to keep Steph happy in Golden State? Even if you believe in him as an organization, does Steph believe in him enough to say, I can win with this guy and I don't need them to make bigger moves. And I think there's a question about that as to where with marketing, maybe you feel a lot better about that given the circumstances that marketing provides as a bigger star and ultimately a 7-foot 3-point shooter. So, it's one of those situations where you wonder if the Golden State Warriors are making good decisions. My gut tells me they are not, but my limited understanding of their circumstances and their books and all that tell me that maybe I should just, chill in regards to being as critical of Mike Dunleavy. But at the end of the day, it comes down to whether or not Steph Curry would actually want to stay there. And aside from it being literally his legacy to stay in Golden State, which is a very big component and a big deal, the organization itself doesn't look like it can win a championship with him anymore. Not with the circumstances they have going on. You got them having this idea that they want to hold on to Jonathan Kuminga, and now Kuminga's talking about he wants a $200 million plus contract. So you already got Draymond on tab at a max level. You got Wiggins on a contract that you probably would like to move on from at pretty much a max level. It's just a lot of stuff going to, different players, money going to different players that you don't think comes together to really make them a competitive team in the Western Conference. And so if I'm Steph Curry, if I can live with playing somewhere else for the remainder of my career, I'm probably better for it, because they're not headed in the right direction as it pertains to being able to compete for his timeline's sake. So that leads itself to him possibly moving on from Golden State. He does not have a no trade clause, but I'm pretty damn certain they will honor his wishes if he decides he wants to be somewhere else. I don't think they would deny him that unless the situation went completely sour like it did with Clay. But I don't think that Clay and Steph Curry are on the same level or wavelength as it pertains to the importance that Golden State's organization has to that particular player. So one could argue they should have had more respect for Clay in that regard, but at the end of the day, Steph's playing such a level at this point to where you still got to value him as a top 15 player in today's game. So that's what it really comes down to. It's not just as simple as saying LeBron and Steph Curry want to play with one another. It's looking at the stuff around those guys and their circumstances and seeing that they would probably both be better elsewhere or together. And given the fact that LeBron James hasn't shown any interest at all of wanting to come into the Golden State, leaving the LA Lakers, one would just have to assume that they would either come to LA or go to a third spot, as to which I don't see LeBron wanting to leave LA either. So that leaves you down to if Steph Curry wants to play with LeBron James, he probably would do it here in LA. So that's really what the rumor is. It's not real traction behind that. I think it's obvious to everybody who even remotely pays attention that the Lakers do not have the package to competitively win a trade package deal with the rest of the league in regards to Steph Curry. If it becomes a bidding war, the Lakers should not, in theory, win that. And maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, I would have said if Steph Curry demands he wants to come to the Lakers, I would tell you that I think he would end up there. But the way things have gone with teams kind of not capitulating to trade demands in that way, I don't know that we're in the era where that would actually end up going that way. Like I said, I think they would honor him if he did decide to leave, but just the same, they may shun him, and you don't know how that goes. So at the end of the day, if I'm a betting man to say he's going to the Lakers, nah, I don't see that. And if I'm Mike Dunleavy, I'm not taking anything less than Anthony Davis to make it happen. As to which I don't think the Lakers are in the business of moving on from Anthony Davis for any reason, even to bring in the greatest shooter of all time. So that's really my point of view. It's pie in the sky, man. Would I be happy if we did it? Yeah. Would I be willing to move on from picks to do it? I thought about it over the last couple of days, and I think the answer is yeah, man. There are certain opportunities that are worth mortgaging your future. And picking up a guy who's in his 30s, late 30s, has a lot of mileage on him, in most cases it's probably not that. But when you have the opportunity to put together what Steph and LeBron could be, yeah, I don't stand in the way of that opportunity. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think it's worth giving up everything you can, even in your future, even if it means missing out on great talent in the future, because you understand what you're putting together. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Anthony Davis. And at the end of the day, with Ant still in his prime, Steph Curry being the greatest shooter of all time, and LeBron James arguably being the greatest player of all time, that's just not an opportunity that you're going to get even if you're flushing new talent into your organization over time. 9 out of 10 circumstances like this, I would say, hell no, keep my picks. Y'all know how eager I am to keep future talent. There's always going to be new talent, new superstars that you're going to want to have drafted and brought into your situation. So I'm not moving from that as a priority for this organization. But when you have an opportunity to get Steph Curry, when you just saw what he just did, and you understand what type of conditioned athlete he's always been and probably will continue to be for the duration of his contract, I still think that he, at this level, being the specific type of piece that he is still worth going absolutely insane in regards to mortgaging your entire future for him. I actually believe he's that much of an atomic bomb today. And will be tomorrow too, so long as he has LeBron James. And even as he ages, he's still going to be the best shooter in the world. You don't expect for him to get better defensively. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm sitting here saying he got to sit in a chair and dunk on people. I want him to be exactly who he is, the greatest shooter to ever play. So if it means mortgaging future picks from now to 2030 to put those three together in the Los Angeles Lakers uniform, yeah, that's the one times where I would honestly say, yeah, go for it, man. Go all in. If you have a chance to do something like that, do it. And I'll live with my team being terrible because I know I would have put that together. See, my thing is I don't want to mortgage my future for something that I don't think is good enough to win a championship. I don't want to mortgage my future for pieces that I don't believe can deliver going forward. I don't want to mortgage my future for anything less than something that I will have loved doing when the team is trash. When I look back and say we brought together Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, I will be happy we did that. That's what I believe. So long as none of those guys go down with a season-ending injury, which is why this is a hell of a risk, and those who are responsible for whether or not things go wrong need to maybe be less laissez-faire about what it is I'm saying. They shouldn't be all willy-nilly. They should have that worked into their equation and have ways of fixing that problem already worked into their plan. If for some reason they get Steph and he goes down with a catastrophic injury, people's jobs are on the line, people's franchises on the line, your future's done, your team is going to suck, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So there are opportunities for that to go completely haywire and for us to be devastated about it. That's what I want people to understand. I'm not sitting here certain that things go right. Things don't never have to go right, especially when you're mortgaging your future. But when you talk about trying to salvage what we have, you talk about the apron issues that we have, you talk about Anthony Davis and his timeline and trying to salvage LeBron and AD's timeline, you talk about what is possible out there and how difficult it is to put teams together that can win in this Western Conference. If something like that were to be possible, I think I would have just as much of a responsibility to take it very seriously as I would to the future of my franchise just the same, because when something is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you can't look at that and say, I'm going to forego that for an opportunity at a stable future, because a stable future may not provide you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, defining what a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is not easy, because some players that you think are the greatest thing ever, maybe they're not, you know what I mean? Maybe you're getting the guy at the wrong time. There's a lot of risk at that. But when you talk about the chef himself, the greatest shooter ever play basketball, it seems like a real easy bet that you're going to get from him what he's been giving Golden State for the last 20 years for the next 3. And that's really my point of view on that. I don't think he's falling off a cliff. Not with the type of conditioned athlete he is. Not with the way his game is set up to shoot from 1,000,000 feet away and be the best shooter ever in a three-point shooting game. And what we just saw in the Olympics, next to LeBron James and his ability to make plays for others, next to Anthony Davis, who can cover up both of their defensive weaknesses, yeah, man, I would definitely want that on my team, man. If I'm a Laker fan, that would be one of the rare instances where I would be able to absorb the futility of a mortgaged future with a smile on my face, knowing that I'm going to watch some of the best basketball ever put together, period. And you look at the risk, which I don't talk very much about, in regards to keeping your picks and drafting poorly, keeping your picks and drafting busts, keeping your picks and drafting players with injury issues, keeping your players and then losing them in free agency down the line. You're going to weigh that risk against the possibility of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's what you're weighing that against the opportunity to put the best shooter to ever shoot the ball in your uniform and all of the good things that come with that if everybody stays healthy. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's when you start looking at the risk to the more safer end of the bargain. It's like, okay, what can go wrong if I say no to a Steph Curry opportunity? And then you start looking at that, and if it plays out that way, you could have had Steph. That's even more of a risk for me than what goes right if I pass on Steph Curry and maybe have all things line up right so that I can get a couple nice young players to upstart my future and having a bunch of good basketball in the future, which means so much to me. But I don't know if that means as much to me as being able to put Steph Curry in my uniform at a discount, because it'll most definitely be a discount because I don't have the package to necessarily win in the trade market. So that means if they take all that I have to give them, they could have gotten better elsewhere. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm also weighing, the price tag. You're telling me if they actually want to send him to us, they'll take our little weak package when they could take OKC's package. They could take something from the Spurs rather. They could take, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we only have 2.5 picks and a couple role players to give. So if they're willing to take that, that's a hell of a discount, man. You gotta look at Steph Curry as a discount at that price, which is why this doesn't seem realistic, which is why I wouldn't bet on this in any way, which is why I don't expect this to happen unless both players behind the scenes are using their leverage to force their way here. There's no other reason I would take that package if I'm Mike Dunleavy. So, you know, that's really what it comes down to. I think this is an opportunity to be better for the Lakers, an opportunity to basically throw your whole future away for really no reason if you're the Golden State Warriors. There's no reason to do this. The incentive for Golden State to do this does not exist. All the more reason why, if it happens, the Lakers, or if they have an opportunity at it, the Lakers should do it. And then we always say, can you retrade what you get for picks? And the answer is, if I have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Anthony Davis on the same team, even if one of them falls off, I could trade at least 2 of those guys for picks. So I will have my future if I retrade Steph Curry. I'm going to have my future. Now, not to say that I would bring him here with the intention of trading him, because I probably want him to retire in my uniform. But his legacy's already in Golden State. So if he plays for the Lakers, it's not like he's establishing anything here, other than opportunity to win another championship with LeBron James attached to him. So all things pointed in different directions. At the end of the day, I think the worst risk is letting something like that come your way and not pulling the trigger if you're the LA Lakers. And if I'm the Golden State Warriors, there's zero chance I'm doing this unless forced. I have to be forced to do this. Nobody gonna rightfully just hand you Steph damn Curry. And if I am handing somebody Steph Curry, I'm handing him over for all the picks possible to reset my situation. I'm not giving them to the Lakers for 2 picks that ultimately are gonna be bad picks now that they got Steph Curry and LeBron James. So like I said, this is all but not happening. I would not tell anybody to think that this is actually taking place. We've seen strange things happen, but I honestly don't think we've seen anything stranger than this. I don't think we see. People say I've seen stranger things happen. Nah, you ain't seen nothing stranger than that. This would be the strangest thing I had ever seen in the NBA. And so that's really my take on it, man. I do think Steph Curry should probably weigh his options. I don't know how much time he feels he has left in his career, but I do not think the Golden State Warriors are even remotely close to competing in the Western Conference. I think if he were to force his way to the Lakers, he would be a NBA champion in this uniform next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think they would find a way to get it done. But as far as the likelihood that it would actually happen? Nah, I don't think it's very likely at all, man. I think you're more likely to see pigs fly, sun turn green. You see a lot of things before you see Steph Curry and LeBron James in a Laker uniform playing with one another very soon. I don't think so. If they want to play with one another, it's probably going to be after Steph Curry's value bottoms out and he's washed up like CP3. Then maybe he would sign with a team like the Lakers when the Golden State Warriors absolutely have no use for him. But as far as him doing it now, or I think the odds of that happening are like winning the lottery, man. I really think that. But you know, just like any other dream scenario, I hope it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I hope Wembanyama signs with the Lakers and Luka Doncic signs with us at the same time, and then we can, you know, bring Anthony Edwards too. Like that's in that realm of possibility in my mind. That's the likelihood you put Steph Curry and LeBron James together this upcoming season. And you probably got as just as good a chance of getting Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards too. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.